Hey friends, Jessica here from Creators Couture. So in this series of tutorials, we're going inside the layers of my Photoshop illustrations, and I'm showing you little tips and tricks and how I created things. And hopefully you'll pick up some good tricks for your own illustrations. And one of the things that is good about a lot of my tutorials and techniques is that they're very accessible for all levels, and you don't really have to have any special drawing ability. And that's really key for me because I don't particularly have any sort of special drawing ability, but I can create cool illustrations. And it's all using the tools that I have at my disposal and a little bit of creative problem solving. So this one's going to be a little short. It's a little simple, but I think it's fun, and you can get into my mind and see how I created these things. So basically my inspiration was at Christmas time. The shop Maison Godet, which is up in St. Paul de Vence, and it's not very far from here where I am in Nice. It's like a half an hour. It's a little medieval village up on the hill. Very charming, very artistic, lots of artists, and it has a big artistic history. I think Chagall lived there, and I believe he's buried there, and so lots of artists coming and going. But this is a very charming French perfumery, and they had dressed up their shop. This was not this Christmas, but last Christmas actually. And they had all the decorations, and I just thought it was so charming and just so inspirational. And this was just after I had made my Instapressionist brushes. So whenever I saw this illustration, I was like, wow, I have to do this with the Instapressionist and make some kind of art based on this. And yeah, but it's funny because here in France, like in the US where I'm from, you never see these kind of, charming little shops and old villages, but here you see them so much. Sometimes even myself, that I wasn't raised here, you get immune to it. You're like, oh yeah, charming village, okay, cute. But this one was just absolutely too cute. So I took this image and used my Instapressionist technique and created this impressionist version of the image. And as you can see here, I love this technique because it's using the brush strokes and the image underneath as a base, and it displaces those pixels, and you can control the direction, the size. And as you can see here, it's very charming, but it doesn't feel like so computer generated like if you had used a filter or something. It's very artistic. So you can see that I have little brush strokes here of texture, different kinds of brush strokes, different sizes. Even here in the little sign, I took my brush way down. That's a way to keep that detail there. So I didn't want it to get totally blurry with the Impressionist technique. And then what I did was I turned this into an artwork, and I had made a version. The version that you see here is for Christmas, and it's very Christmassy. And you could print this up and put it up on your wall for Christmas. But then I did just a scaled back version and have this nice black, border around it with a little bit of typography down here. And I think this one, you could go have it all year long. You could print this and put it up. Even it has red and green, but it's okay. So I think that's charming. And actually, I will have the download link for this as a free download down below. So you can print it out and put it up in your house. Feel free to send me a pic if you do that. But I think it's really classic. So I made one version of Christmas, one version not. And so basically, as you see here, if I take the Christmas part off, then you see that I have just the image that I created here in the center. And what I did was I had just put a little bit of brush strokes using my Impressionist brushes to create this soft kind of border, because you see here that I didn't want it just going straight to the edge. So what I did was sample some colors from the image, like right in here or right in here. And I can turn off the thing, So I just sampled some colors from some of the stonework. And around the edges, I just used some brush strokes of my Modern Impressionist color blending set. So that was a little touch so that it didn't feel so completely sterile, and you have this soft, oops, let's not move that, soft border around the edge within that black frame. And of course the typography, I just laid it out, but I won't focus on that. You can figure out how to do typography. And then above it, this is the Christmas part. And I wanted to mimic some of those gorgeous, what is it, like holly, Christmas greenery sort of, effect here. So I wanted to mimic that on the sides and kind of break that border up and have that, little bit of organic sort of feeling. And this part is not the Instapressionist technique. So how I did that was really simple. I just used my color blending Modern Impressionist brushes, and I sampled some colors. Now I will show you, I sampled some of the reds, like just right from here. That was easy peasy. So to create these, let's view these. Window, arrange to a vertical so we can see some side-by-sides here. And let's pop this one over here. Okay, so for the red balls and these little red kind of splashes, I just, sampled some from the poinsettias, no problem. But here was a little bit difficult to sample from the greenery. And I think what I did was, rather than, because I didn't want to get this tan in there, what I did was I Googled Christmas greenery or holiday greenery, and I found an image. And then so I can just take my selection tool and go edit, define pattern to create my own color palettes from this greenery. And these had a much, richer, good color because they're not in the background like in the picture. So I actually, even though they're mimicking this greenery here, I actually sampled those color palettes from another image. And so then I'm just going to pull back some of these layers here. So let's pop into this thing, and we're going to auto select layer. So these were the little balls, and these were just quite easy to make. I used one of my smoother Modern Impressionist brushes, and I just, made a little circle, and honestly, that was it. These are little brush strokes with a little bit of a drop shadow, and these are my 24 karat gold brush strokes, so just little delicate little brush strokes in there. And then you can see I have some brush strokes, and these are actually from my Romantic English Garden, I believe. So you can just see it's just little brush strokes from those color palettes that I had created. So no special drawing ability, just dabbing the little brush strokes, layering them. I had put a drop shadow on, I think I put a drop shadow on the balls and the gold, and just created this nice little, holiday border to mimic what you see in the photo. So I think it turned out really good. And as you can see, very little intrinsic drawing ability necessary. And all in all, it was very easy to do. It didn't take me very long. So hopefully you found some tips and tricks that will help you in your own illustration work. And if you have any questions, let me know down below in the comments. And all the different products and things that I referenced, I'll put down below. And then don't forget, if you're new to the color blending Impressionist technique, I'll have a link down below. You can download a sample of my brushes direct from Adobe. And also even the Instapressionist brushes that I use to create this whole scene, you can download a sample of those as well for free from Adobe. So you can definitely get almost all of the resources or similar resources for free that I used on this tutorial. And even the 24 karat brush, I have a freebie on my Photoshop brush roundup. So get your download on. Let me know if you have a question. And if you like the art, go ahead and check the link down below and download it and enjoy it in your house.